episode of Limit Break Radio is made possible by our generous Patreon donors, including Akko Zen of Marlboro, Mars Angel of Belmung, Betty White of Hyperion. Thank you so much for your support. If you want to support Limit Break Radio, visit patreon.com/Limit Break Radio. Do you have tons of projects that you really want to put off, but just don't have the energy or the time to do so? Here at Potato and Catgirl Inc., we felt the same way, so eventually we got around to creating the Procrastination Station. The Procrastination Station provides any kind of service you should be looking for, but haven't got around to yet. Simply muster up the will to call us on your touch-tone link shell and let us know what you would like to put off. Is your house, garden, and the Cuckan income-based affordable housing overdue for a trimming? Call us today, and we'll get right to work on getting right to work on that. Call us today. Behind on checking your crypto tombstones? Well, we will put doing financial research off in a jiffy. Unpaid bills looming on the horizon? Well, put your mind at ease knowing your foreclosure notice from Cockaroon's First National Bank of Shiny is safely unopened on our desk. So don't wait to procrastinate. Call the Procrastination Station today and let us work for you after we finish this game of Scion Watch.
Live from Eorzea. Limit Break with your hosts, Unhero.
Now behold the horror you have wrought.
Kahlo.
I said don't take your clothes off.
Juxtaposition.
I don't get it.
And Nika.
Oh my god.
LimitBreakRadio.com.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Limit Break Radio, episode 156. Appreciate having you along. Twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio, starting at around 4-ish.
4-ish.
When we feel like it. On Sundays, you can feel free to join us. Twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio. We get new people in every week that are like, oh, finally, I get to listen to it live. Feel free to join us live any weekend that you have free.
And let us know if you're a new listener.
Yeah.
We'll give you a shout out.
That's right. Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. We want to take your calls. I want to know what the fuck anyone is doing in this game.
Oh, wow. Things have
seriously?
Things have changed since I've been away.
Seriously? Because I've been logging on like somewhat this past couple of weeks.
Wow, the conviction
there
in
is
your voice.
there is nobody online.
If you get on at like 7 p.m.
No,
there's a hit.
no,
Yes.
No, you're
No, I mean,
lying.
I've
You're
been pretty
lying.
active in the party finder
Yeah.
with rating and stuff.
They have a party finder for AFK people?
They actually have...
Are you talking over the Mr. Frumpy Raccoon donation, Nika?
Because it's just praise juxta bullshit.
Yes, nobody gives a crap.
Guess who doesn't have Streamlabs open, Nika?
Okay, every week it runs through the speakers. This is the first week it has.
It was really, really low, yeah, because I barely heard it.
Yeah, you need to turn that shit up.
Yeah, turn it up.
There's only so much that I can do.
Blast it like it's Lucio.
Well, what would I turn up? I can always hear it. This is the first week I've never been able to hear it.
Does Juxta have to turn it up then?
I don't think I do.
Yeah,
Like, there's nothing I can turn up on my end.
I'm not hearing it. God damn it, Juxta. Why am I not hearing it?
I don't know. It's on.
Fix it, Juxta.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'll just flip some knobs and twist some levers.
Oh, that's all we ask. And that it works, obviously.
Just get it right. I know you haven't been here in 2 weeks now.
In forever.
Has it been 2 weeks?
Well, because we had to do that one show from home because of the ice storm.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it hasn't been here specifically.
Right.
I got what you mean. Yeah.
So.
But I still think he was gone for 2 weeks.
Worked fine for me.
I mean, 2 weeks ago I was here. I mean, I was on the show.
But you weren't here in
that
studio.
doesn't matter.
What he's...
Fucking Nika talking over Juxta.
Dang. Thank you, Nika is dumb. Very truthful name.
Yeah, I can't hear any of it.
It was Nika is dumb. Fuck Nika for talking over me.
Well, okay, then fuck Juxta for fucking up the sound.
You're the one who fucked everything up,
What
Nika.
did I do? There's literally nothing I can do. I can't just turn up the donations. Like, I'll open the Streamlabs, but I've never had to do that in the last couple, like in a year.
Nika,
I have not had to open
Nika,
Streamlabs.
You could do better. Can you do better?
In the words of Kratos, expect the unexpected and keep your expectations low, boy.
I thought Kratos was going to say something like, you suck.
I mean, that's essentially what it comes to, because he says that after the boy did something that sucked. No idea what's wrong?
Audiomancer is stumped?
Yeah, no, I've got nothing.
He's a stumpy mancer?
I don't...
Nika, you should have to open Streamlabs.
Yeah, I'll just open it. I'm just curious.
Well, no, because now I gotta put it all on back in post, and that's just the worst.
Oh, that's not good.
That's the worst.
Frumpy Raccoon, damn it. This is what happens when you praise Juxta so much.
See, now you shouldn't tell them that because now the donations are going to roll in.
Yeah.
Oh no! Please don't roll in donations.
No, don't make a Nero have to do it. Or do.
Yeah, no, I'm that one. I'm frankly stumped by.
I mean, we can still hear it a little bit. I mean, it's just really low. That wouldn't be picked up on the recording then?
No, it's not. I mean, it's not.
Gonna be too low.
It's just not coming. No, it's not coming through.
At all.
At all on yours.
All.
On yours, yeah, no.
That's weird.
I mean, it's not even muted like I would normally be the problem.
Are you sure?
Juxta deserves all praise all the time. #praise bang mage.
Yeah, see, it's not even coming through on yours at all.
Let me try restarting Streamlabs. Maybe that's it.
I don't know. Anyway, thanks for joining us. This is going to be fun.
For this clusterfuck.
Appreciate having you along. LimitBreakRadio.com to subscribe to the podcast. This is honestly fucking me all up.
It feels a little disjointed now, doesn't it?
Yeah. No. You fucked it all up, Juxta.
I didn't do it. It was Nika. She started
There's no way I'm doing this.
Nika.
All right, look, it can be both your faults. How about that? You're both incompetent.
Well, I don't want to share.
But I didn't do anything wrong.
I don't want to share with Nika then.
Then fine, take all the blame yourself.
Well, I don't want that either.
Well, pick one.
Nika has ruined the show. It's always about Juxta.
Nothing,
Juxta,
dude.
#disconnect Nika.
There's
there was a donation there?
Yeah.
I figured since there was no talking, but okay, I have Streamlabs open now.
This is bad. This is not good.
Is it something on OBS?
No, it's definitely something going on over there.
I have no clue.
Nothing's muted.
Nothing is muted.
Because it's just it's not coming, dude. It's not coming through at all. I feel like we should like restart the show. That's how bad this is. I mean, you fucked up the opening.
I did. I fucked up the opening with my tard eyes.
Tard eyes.
We've got to figure this out. We're halting the show. This is the first time that this has ever happened.
Stand by, chat. Stand by.
Who the hell said?
Okay, that works.
Yeah, I heard the drop.
Do you even audio engineer?
I mean, clearly not. Something.
Is it because it's not echoing? That's how we know that it's not coming through?
Right.
Are bits dead too?
What the fuck? Well, it shows it's coming through on...
Yeah, with Streamlabs open, I can hear it, but I don't hear it through the chat.
And I am a gorgeous girl.
Are bits dead too?
Yes, meter.
You hear the drops though, Nika?
Yeah, I can hear the drops.
And I am a gorgeous girl with big cans.
Loud and clear.
Right.
This is a test donation for $1.
Oh, I hear it now.
Yep.
What was it?
It was do you want me to try to explain?
Was it Juxta's fault?
No.
Okay, that's all I need to know.
So I guess we're restarting.
Limit break point.
We can.
What do we do? How do we do we try to recover this? Because I can't go back and put all those fucking donations in. Dude, that's going to take so much goddamn time.
What if you put right here a reverse sound effect, like we just rewound the show and start again?
Audio constancy.
Maybe just maintain your audio constancy
using the time stone.
It's constancy? What is that?
That would be the Tard voice.
Like consistency?
That's what he meant, yes, but it's a Tard voice.
This really bugs me. It's stuff like this really, really bugs me. I honestly, I don't know what to do. Like, I mean, do we recover? Do we just try to move on? I mean,
let's just pretend that Gallant is onto something.
But what do you do for the fucking podcast?
Podcast is a failure. Given the chat room leakage.
It's a scam to get donations. Let's just own it.
Jump into the LBR news. We got a lot of it.
Dude, this is rough. This is rough. I sort of just feel like we should restart.
Let's restart then. I'll not Tard-eye the opening this time.
I mean, you're going to have to reread it before we leave anyway. Because that was rough.
All right, let's just redo it then. We're redoing it live, guys.
Do your job!
Now we'll just recover.
Oh, okay.
None of this was funny at all.
It wasn't. That was bad.
You geeks are so gullible.
You don't need to do double drops like that.
What do we want? Unfair. When do we want it? Change.
God damn it. Why does anyone pay for this? I don't understand.
Because they're retarded too.
How am I supposed to try to convince people to donate to our Patreon when we can't even open the show properly?
To be fair,
the first 30 minutes is just us screwing around trying to get things set up properly.
And getting money
for it.
This is stupid. This is fucking stupid.
Jesus, did you even try?
But is it not genius that we found a way to capitalize on the stupid?
No, because it makes me have to do more work.
I'm sorry. I thought it was garbage.
You know, you're fucking garbage. It's all your fault.
It's totally
This is all your
my
fault. This is all your fault.
Look, I will not own to things that are my mistakes, but I'm definitely not going to own to things that are not my mistakes.
It's definitely your fault.
So do I read the opening again, though?
No. God damn it.
Are you a dumb dick?
He said I'm going to need to read it at some point.
Yeah, at
After
some
the
point,
show, you dumb...
Before we leave.
God.
You're some kind of moron, you know that?
Do you have tons of projects?
Oh my God.
We haven't even brought up the studio yet.
No, because it's probably on fire.
Look, this is what happens when you see something as emotionally crippling as Infinity War, okay?
This is all the Russo brothers'
Let's just blame it on that.
This is just what happens. Anyway, all right, guys, thank you for joining us for this train wreck called Limit Break Radio. If you want to,
fair, our viewers have doubled.
Like, come listen to the shit show, guys. It's hilarious.
I mean, honestly, like, yeah, like, I understand why people would want to see the destruction of a podcast that's been going for 12 years.
We could.
The ghost of Escalia is here and just ruining everything.
The new card that I have, the postcard, and it's actually gonna be the last one because I think it's the best one. Definitely features Escalia without actually featuring him. It's even better than the Tombstone one from last time.
This has been a good Patreon plug.
Yes, on Patreon. Get that on Patreon. Go pay it.
How much?
$20 level.
$20 level. They were been designed by Noriko. They are the best we've done. No offense to all of our previous artists. We're probably going to take offense to it.
Yeah, I don't know how they wouldn't.
Well, to be fair, I don't think any of them listened to the show, and to be extra fair, we were already done with our business with them, so it doesn't matter.
Just burn that bridge. Sure, why not?
Is that not what we do here at Limit Break Radio?
God, you're such an asshole.
Burn bridges.
Anyway, guys, thanks for joining us. Appreciate having you along. Twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio. If you want to join us in the studio, let me bring that up, by the way. You can do so in the Goblet, 5th Ward, plot number 30. come downstairs. Hang out.
Come downstairs.
Come downstairs. I swear to God, it's not some sort of like
it's definitely
weird
some
rape
sort of
dungeon or something.
rape dungeon.
We don't have like a penis made out of furniture or anything, complete with cum. How have we not gotten in trouble with Square Enix GMs for having a penis table, a penis stage, various different penis things made out of
penises?
No,
we don't
out of furniture.
We don't currently have any penis-shaped furniture, do we?
I thought we don't. We have the dick stage, don't we?
Yeah, stage. It's stage D.
No, you almost said it. You said
what you're
dick
talking
stage.
about.
It's the dick stage, 100%. So anyway, yeah, come join us in our layer of I don't know, weirdness.
That's putting it lightly. Depravity.
Yeah.
You know, I could probably,
if you emote enough, maybe the iCam will look at you,
and not a lamp,
and you'll be famous.
Just kidding.
Or something
it's
like
always
that.
a lamp.
There is a lot of lamp.
I could probably repurpose the furniture downstairs so you can like jump down into the basement but not get out.
Yes.
Is that a thing we should do?
Yes.
Okay.
That's hilarious. I like that idea.
All right, I'll do that.
And make sure you fill the floor with white jelly.
I don't have the gill for that. I'm gonna need a gill infusion.
I just think it would be funny if they jump down into a room they can't get out of and it's just filled with cum.
Anyway,
the cum pit.
I'm coming! I'm coming!
Origin story for the commoner.
Who?
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ. Anyway, yeah, so if you want to join us in Eorzea, dear God, what is even happening anymore? Goblet, Fifth Ward Plot number 30. Also, you can subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher. And if you want to support this madness, head on over to patreon.com/Limit Break Radio. Even $1 a month helps us to be able to do this.
Question mark?
Make mistakes live?
I feel like we're going to lose money for this, if anything.
I mean, if the
Well, we've
world
already
is
gave a bunch
just,
of
we would.
donations.
All right. So, well, at least Crimson is having fun. This episode so far is better than a lot of Stormblood. I agree with that.
That's not hard.
Yeah. Patreon.com/Limit Break Radio. It does support the show. So if you like what we do here, then head on over to patreon.com/Limit Break Radio. All right, we got a lot of news to check out. Let's find out what's going on in FF14 news.
This is a Limit Breaking News Update.
And so it continues. New items have been added to the cash shop.
Ballin'.
Among them are the ever-coveted Nika Blart Mall Tank Flaming Segway Mount.
Yes, I need this.
Bam!
Of course
you do.
I didn't even see that was the thing. I'm so excited. I might have to buy it right now.
Can you also equip the mustache item every time you ride it?
You should. You absolutely should.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Yay.
They've also added a pretty cool barding and some armor sets called Nezha. I'd actually, the armor sets and the barding actually look pretty cool, and personally I would have loved to have picked them up in game, but the fact that they just decided to throw them into the cash shop instead, I find it really hard to fund.
Are they based on something?
Yeah, I think you would have to tell us that.
I think this is all like the Chinese stuff that was added for whatever.
Some of it was, but I don't remember some of these.
Yeah, I don't remember the armor sets. Obviously, the Flaming Segway was, but the armor sets themselves, I don't know. Those look kind of new.
I know what the Nezha is. That's the next place we're going to go to in the next expansion. So they're giving us all the stuff early.
Wait, is that for real, or is that you trying to make a joke?
That's me predicting the future.
Oh, this is a Juxtadamus moment.
You don't have a thunder drop? How do you not have a thunder drop? You are Juxtadamus. You are the only one who would use the thunder drop.
Well,
no, I like the better.
Look how disappointed he is right now. Like, he's actually like, why don't I?
Yeah, why don't you? And why do you think these armor sets look cool? I don't think they look cool at all.
I mean, compared to like previous stuff that we've had, look, as like the overall, you're right, maybe not, but I'd love to be able to like add these into the glamour stuff that I have and like use.
You can mix and match things. So I like the pants are like knee cutoffs and the little crop jacket is a lot cuter than the animals.
The shorts are cool. What the fuck is wrong with you?
It's a lot better than here's another yukata.
Do you also miss shopping at Pacific Sunwear as well?
Someone made
I'm just talking about mixing and matching.
Sora cosplay out of that, apparently.
Yeah, I bet you could.
That's cool.
I bet you could.
That's the reason why it sucks.
Titus would really, really like that fucking glamour.
No, they're too even. You have to cut one off at like the thigh.
Besides, Titus had his own costume added for FanFest.
Now, Juxta, there's actually something you were asking sort of behind the scenes. You said you'd love to be able to
the belly cutoff jackets. What the fuck is? I'm taking issue with you saying that these are in any way cool.
Oh, sorry, they don't have enough fucking
determined not to be cool about
enough fucking spikes in black for you.
They don't. That's exactly the problem.
Okay. Juxta, you were asking, like, you said you wanted someone to come up with, like, a chart, like a timeline of all the stuff added to the cash shop.
Yeah.
That's something I've been interested in seeing, too, because I feel like the Final Fantasy XIV cash shop has to have, by this point, more stuff in it than, like, the World of Warcraft cash shop.
Oh, definitely.
That's been around for how long?
At this point, they've been adding stuff, like, every week, right?
About every
other week?
But I'd say they add optional items at least twice a month. That's probably fair, right?
Every other week.
Yeah, that seems about right. Yeah.
And I guess some people just find this okay. Like that's fine. We're not gonna have things develop for other stuff. Oh my god, look at that! It's terrible. Jesus.
Nika, why do you want these?
Want what?
The fucking mall tank.
I just want the mount. That's it.
Why?
Because it's fucking flaming wheels. It's like the chick from Big Hero 6 with fire on her feet.
At least she's consistent. That is the reason she gave us last time. All right.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like she was the best character anyway.
Did you notice the goddamn Chocobo has them too?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
They're not on fire.
Look at the Chocobo.
Oh my god.
I don't know. But remember, Chocobo Barding comes in 3 separate forms, so you can just not put the wheels on them.
The wheels aren't even on fire.
What purpose do the wheels serve?
They spin. When you stop, they keep spinning.
No.
Are they like
no, these are brilliant. You know what these are? These are foot shields.
Foot shields?
Foot shields against flanking attacks. That is so brilliant against ants, I guess.
I think that this is the Eorzean version of wheelies, those stupid sneakers that had wheels in the heel.
Those are so cool.
No, Heelys? Is that what they're called? Whatever the fuck, yeah. I don't know.
I wanted to get those when they came out, and they didn't go up to my size.
Because you were like 23. We were at college together.
Oh yeah, that was college.
Hold on. Could you imagine Juxta trying to use those though, and just like smashing into a dumpster or something?
Bro, I did see people around campus using them, and I've never wanted to dump somebody's books more.
But they were too fast for you to catch.
I've never had the compulsion to give somebody a wedgie and a swirly at the same time as seeing a grown fucking man wearing Heelys. Jesus.
Those are so cool.
I want to throw you in a river.
Let's move on. So if you guys recall...
Nika, I want to throw you in a river.
What?
Because you want to wear these in Eorzea.
Because you want the Heelys of Eorzea. Fucking stupid.
Are we done?
No.
Get it out of your system.
I'm angry.
You're always angry.
I'm more angry because
Repress it.
Juxta fucked up the beginning of the show.
Bro, you gotta back off now.
No, fuck you.
Bro, you gotta back off now.
I'll fucking punch you.
Bro, you gotta back off now.
So
you need to assign more drops to that drop board. Holy shit.
Well, I was going to do that today, but I couldn't.
Why couldn't you?
Because we were talking Infinity War. Because apparently we can't talk about it on this episode of show.
No, we can't.
Why?
Because A, spoilers. B, like, this is not...
don't care.
This is not the place to talk. We're probably going to talk about it on the Checkpoint podcast this week.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
B,
and you're not on it. That's an important part of that.
I don't like that part either.
Yeah.
But
fuck off.
B, next opening I do, I'm going to make it have Infinity War in there, so I'll bring it in there with the Revengers.
That's already a thing for
What?
Thor 3.
Is it?
Yeah. Thor 3. We're making our own team called the Revengers. You know what? We don't need a team name.
I'm gonna make it the Defenders. No, that's dang it.
You're really bad at this.
The Soufflenders.
All right, so if you recall from last week, we mentioned that Yoshida...
Did I just blow your mind?
Stop it. And Soken will be doing a stream on a North American server to help promote the upcoming Eorzean Symphony and to let players... Symphony.
What is
It's all
a
right.
symphony?
It's not called that anymore, guys.
He's got the tarred mouth.
They were going to let players suggest names.
Oh, God.
So firstly...
Going, bros.
to address Nika's concerns from last week, saying, well, it already has a name. They're actually renaming it to this new one. So it's no longer...
Why are they renaming it? They already got a name.
It's no longer the Eorzean Symphony. Yoshida, Soken, and they had another special guest. Guess who's not dead, guys? Koji Fox was on the stream, too.
Oh,
What?
good.
Yeah, so he's alive.
Maybe he had a baby.
Men can't have babies, Nika.
Okay, but his wife could have one. Is he married?
I
don't know.
I would assume not.
There's a
I
whole
don't know,
lot of
if I have-
presuming going on here.
If I have a baby every time I'm absent, Koji has one when he's absent.
That's because you're a woman.
That's
Yeah,
very...
but he was gone for a long time, like a maternity link.
That's very sexist, Nika.
Yeah.
What?
All right.
How?
Yeah.
So anyway, I wanted
really
to... I want
Hashtag me too. That's the right application of this, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to play
No.
I want to play a little game here, guys, because they actually chose 4 suggestions out of the chat, and I'm going to tell you what they are. Then you have to tell me which one you think was chosen as the new name. All right. So these are the potential names. There was the Heidelin Philharmony,
Who's Phil?
the Crystal Caravan, Heidelin's Hamstrings, or the 7th Astral Orchestra.
I like Heidelin's hamstrings.
Bad.
What do you mean they're all bad?
Actually,
Because it
I
reminds
don't
me
know.
of food.
The 7th Astral Orchestra is not terrible.
That's the only one I could think could possibly win.
And that's the one that they went with.
I was
Good.
gonna go
That's
with-
that's fine.
The other three are
I'm good with that.
horrible.
So it's now called...
Heidelin's hamstrings? Are you shitting me?
Is it like honey glazed or is it just like the pulled pork?
Yeah, so the Dawn of the 7th Astral Orchestra is what they're calling it now. And for those of you who have a chance to go to either the Los Angeles showing or the one in Germany, Susan Calloway will be there to do the vocals for Answers and Dragon Song.
What about Stormblood song? What is it called?
Nobody... Revolutions?
Is it?
Nobody like that song.
Rebellion?
I like that song.
No, what? You really?
Nika, okay, we obviously
I like everything that Susan Calloway does. I'm biased.
Nika,
but
we obviously do a lot of lying on this show, but you don't have to lie about this.
no, I liked it just nowhere near as much as the other two.
Well, Nika, you will be excited to know that they will also be performing Oblivion as well, the Shiva song that they never play for you.
Yeah, I'll be excited if they put other U.S. cities other than just LA.
Yeah, well, so far it's just LA and the one in Germany. But if you want more information, the post for this on the Lodestone was actually super long. Talked a lot about the stream and stuff like that, and they also have a complete set list of all the songs that they will be performing, so go check that out. We've also received word on when the next live letter will take place, and it's just around the corner, May 11th. And of course, the topic will be patch 4.3 part 2. The special guest for this letter will be Asumi Matsuno, who is the CEO of Algebra Factory.
Oh, I hate algebra.
And renowned game designer. He'll be talking about the forthcoming return to the Evilise raid, the Readerana Lighthouse, and all questions you can submit. He will choose from and have to do with that. So,
am I supposed to know who this is?
Matsuno?
I have.
He's the guy who made Evilise.
He's one of the Evilise guys. Yeah.
Okay.
But I didn't realize that a game company is called Algebra Factory.
Apparently,
that's a weird name.
It's a terrible name.
It's
like, I definitely don't want to play those games.
Yep. And we've also seen some more updates to the 4.3 website. They've added a little bit here for us to maybe dive into concerning, of course, the Evilise raid. It says, and it does, I think, give us a little bit more of a clue or insight into why we're going there. Because remember, a lot of us were like, what the fuck is supposed to come next in the story? So it says on the website, south of Rabanasti is a remote corner of the Valnard Sea, gapes a fathomless maw.
Gay! You said nard.
You know how I know you're gay?
Is that not what it says? Valnard. It is the Valnard Sea.
Because you want Val's nards.
To gape for you.
For centuries has slowly devoured the world around it.
Well, We heard that you're gay.
Rito Rana. Whether you believe the cataract natural wonder or demon toward gate to the very underworld, journeys to her edge should be made with the utmost caution, seeing as none who have stumbled into the darkness have ever returned to tell their tale. An ancient spire once used by the Dalmaskins as a lighthouse rises defiantly above the churning waters to warn for thoughtful and foolhardy alike. It is into this spire that the transformed Bagaman has fled. It is into this hell that you must follow. So, did he take something? We gotta follow Bagaman?
Didn't he take Alma?
He did, didn't he? Kidnapped Alma. Damn it. So it's just a rescue mission? That's it?
Yeah.
That's kind of lame.
You're lame.
That's super lame.
Yeah, but I mean, the narrative that holds these raids together is never great.
That's, yeah, all right.
This one's
I guess
not
that's fair.
bad compared to previous ones, though.
We'll see.
Okay.
I was saying that about Void Arc until about the third one, and then I went, "Oh god."
Well, hold on. She, compared to Omega, she's not wrong.
Okay, but that doesn't make it good.
That's also fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
Compared to Alexander.
Nika, what's your favorite part about the Evilise narrative?
What do you mean? Like,
there you go.
You
don't
just
have
enjoy
anything.
it?
Can you even?
No, I mean, I just think that it has an interesting enough story, and it ties really. Like, my favorite part is actually the fact that it's not only canon to 14, but also to Evilise's lore, and I'm really excited that they managed to weave it in without it being like an alternate universe named Evilise. Like, that's what I think is cool. But,
you sounded very confident about that answer.
I am extremely confident. I've actually talked about this multiple times to people who are like, "Oh, I hear Evilise is in 14," and I like go off about it every time. I was like, "Yeah, it's actually canon. Like, this is a legit thing. I have a real reason. Like, that is my favorite thing." So
the way she trails off every sentence. I'm really confident about this. Just no.
Oh no,
yeah,
sorry,
no. You sound confident. That's fine.
No, that's
it's
not
fine.
a lack of confidence.
Take off your clothes.
Okay.
Jesus, Justa.
They also talk about some of the additional updates that we can look forward to, such as the cross-world link shell saying, "Bridge the gap between worlds with the new cross-world link shell system."
Because, you know why?
Keeping in touch with friends in the same data center has never been easier.
Because the worlds aren't big enough to sustain an actual player economy.
The only way this will help me is if you can invite them to a party from the link shell list. If you still can't do that,
I hope you still have to make party finders.
Just make a party finder.
That is so Square Enix.
Yeah.
That is so Square
It removes having to message each person individually and lets me just message the password to the link shell chat. But still, that's
fair. Yeah. I mean, I usually just put the password in there anyway.
Just say it in Discord.
Yeah. But I mean, obviously, we'll start up a Limit Break Radio cross-world link shell for.
But
you can only have like 60 people in it so far. They're going to expand it
64.
later.
Yeah. So here's the problem.
What's the point?
If you are on Sargentanas, you can't be in this because then we're just going to get super.
Okay, hold on.
What?
That's like assuming there's 64 LBR people that actually play this game still. Maybe there's not.
I'm telling you, it's been a ghost town when I'm on.
I mean, if we ask in the chat right now how many people actually are still subscribed, I'm not sure we'll reach 64.
But
no, I'm telling you, there has been a big, like, the rating scene right now has been mostly in the party finder. I've been like rating with a ton of different people trying to do, like, the pug game is pretty strong on 05, 6, and 7.
You know why all of the rating is done in party finder? It's because statics keep breaking up because people are leaving this game, Nika.
You're probably not wrong.
That's the only reason you can rate, or the only way
it's
you can rate.
fairly alarming how abrupt the drop off of players is post Eureka. You know, like,
which is really sort of sad and alarming, considering that Aniro, you really liked Eureka, and I'm actually really into it as well. And even after doing all of Eureka, so even when they put in a piece of content that people enjoy and are excited for, there is still this sharp drop off 2-3 weeks,
2-3 weeks out. Yeah, no.
Because it has no longevity.
Exactly. That's exactly it. And I mean, I would say that Eureka had more longevity than most FF14 content, but even still doing it fairly casually, I was able to breeze through the 20 levels and get all of the gear that I needed.
Dude, I was checked out the week that we had that show after I heard our first caller already had a level 20, And I'm like, if that's how long this is going to take...
Well, no, but I think that that's actually kind of good because you can either poop sock the system...
Or take your time like I'm doing.
Yeah, or take your time with it. And both methods are somewhat viable. But not just that, like, you can't poop sock tomes. You've got that weekly cap. And, I mean, I've actually been capping out fairly... most weeks since what was
he made
it?
me 4. do a dungeon last
since
4.2.
Yeah, I know,
Which
right?
One? It was Hell's Lid.
Yeah, that's what I've been getting every time that I've been queuing. But I even capped this week too, and I still, I still don't quite have all of my 360. I've still got my my right side to fill out. So you know what I mean, like. I sort of feel like if you have the option to pace that way, then
it's better to give that option than to not have it whatsoever.
Right,
100%. Yeah.
I mean, because that's pretty much the only method. I mean, unless you were raiding, that was the only way to kind of sidestep the tone grind. So, I actually do think that Eureka solved a couple of different complaints.
My complaint was that even if you poop sock it, you should not have gotten 20 in a week. I think it should have been longer.
I agree. I don't know that the distribution was exactly where it needed to be, but I think Square Enix wanted people to feel like the grind wasn't that severe because they tend to be for the relic weapons.
It wasn't that bad, but people were still crying and moaning about it in the first couple days.
Of course they do.
Well, fuck those people.
Because people are stupid and they cry and moan about things that they don't want to do.
They also talk a little bit about the glamour dressers, and really the biggest thing of note here is that anything that you turn into a glamour can now be restored into its original form.
Oh, thanks, Square Enix. Thank you for that.
Enough to make you resub, Juxta?
Oh, yeah, that's going to make me resub. Sarcasm, hashtag it.
Oh, okay, all right, fair enough.
No, you're supposed to use a sarcastic voice. Now I look foolish.
It was actually a pretty good impression, too.
Come on, that's not bad.
Wow.
That's not bad.
Yeah, that's pretty good. They also talk a little bit more about the guest books.
It's only one step removed from Mama Dragon over here.
Wondering if friends drop by your estate to say hello, leave a guest book to sign, and wonder no longer. Perhaps you'll even find thoughtful notes from an unexpected caller. I'm not sure what that means. But
we can leave a guest book and people can leave dick jokes on it.
This is actually so far the thing I'm most excited about, and actually being able to see it, because I'm like, how the fuck is a guest book supposed to work? But if people can actually stop by and leave us messages, we can start reading guest book entries on air.
I would love to do that.
Isn't that cool?
I would love to do that.
That is so awesome.
Yeah.
And that's really all there is as far as what's been added to the 4.3 website there. Guest books. That's what I'm most excited for out of all this bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, guest books are something to be excited about, I think.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's all there is for the news. Now, Aniro, as you had mentioned earlier, Juxta wasn't here last week. We actually had a pretty, I think, good and adult conversation, probably because he wasn't here last week.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, it was
productive.
There you go. That's the word I needed. It was a very productive show.
Ew. I'm sorry.
Everything worked. Technically. Wow. I didn't fuck up the whole beginning of the show.
Complain about it.
I am going to complain about it.
Actually, it seems like you're boasting, not complaining.
I mean, we were able to get it back on track.
Yeah.
That's because
you were able to. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
You're welcome for that.
But anyway, Juxta,
you're welcome for that.
The question,
because you would have had to be here 25 minutes longer today.
No, where's welcome for that?
Jesus, you're an idiot. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Question that I wanted to ask you was a discussion we had last week, and it was actually Aniro had brought this up. What do you have to see from Square Enix at the next Fan Fest to be reinvested in the game? Because you're not even paying a sub right now, are you?
No.
Yeah. So what's it gonna take to bring you back into the folds of Eorzea?
Oh gosh. All right. Well, what would take from Square Enix, and keep in mind I have no. I believe Square Enix will never do this.
Oh, right. No expectation. Right. It's not happening. But what would need to happen?
They would have to completely and utterly revamp the combat system. Not like 100% revamp it, but like, you know how like in World of Warcraft they would like change the talent system drastically, and then one expansion they even took it out and they implemented it back in. They'd have to do that on something of that scale to this game. And not the combat revamp that we had.
Wasn't a combat revamp.
That was fucking bullshit. That was stat redistribution. And Final Fantasy or World of Warcraft does that every expansion.
Yeah, it was a pruning of the ability bloat more than anything.
Yeah, and they got rid of
They just put it into like better animated bars. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about like the stat adjustments where they added direct hit and took out accuracy.
Shit.
It was more of like a stat crunch than anything.
Yeah.
It was that. That does not count as a combat revamp. Square Enix, take notes.
So what? I mean, what is it about FF14's battle system that you would want to see revamped?
It's not necessarily like what specific things I want revamped. It would be Square Enix showing us that they are actually willing to take risks and wanting to change the game. Maybe it's not better this time, but just the fact that they want to just try to change something and make it new and fresh. Because right now, this is the stalest game ever because we know exactly how every combat's going to work out.
And you know, I can kind of see where you're coming from. And let me ask you this, because I feel like Eureka is sort of them attempting to do that, but is the reason that doesn't speak to you is because it feels like they've played it safe by being like, oh yeah, we're going to change a bunch of stuff, but put it in a bubble over here so it doesn't affect anything.
That-ish, but I don't feel like it even changed all that much. Like, it made monsters harder, kind of, ish, and it added this elemental wheel, which doesn't really do much. Like, you just make sure that your attacking is on the right one and you're defending if your healer is on the right one.
You don't even have to do that in the NM train, by the way.
Oh, you don't have to do that anymore?
No, I always forget.
Pretty much now, yeah.
So, like, what's really changed about this thing?
Well, again, I'm going to go back to this. With a system like Eureka, this is where Square Enix could really benefit from a PTR. Because if you understand how your community is going to end up using the systems that you're implementing, I think that would give you an ability to course correct early on and not look like you're changing or nerfing the system after it's already out.
Yeah.
Because Square Enix is really gun shy about nerfing shit.
Yeah. Juxta, do you believe that during any of the internal testing that there were 164 people testing Eureka?
Maybe they had one, quote, stress test. One. Where they just had like everyone on board playing 14. Maybe. It's within their capabilities that they could have done that. I don't know if they actually did or not. Probably not.
Had they done that, though, even if it was for a week, 2 weeks, they might have realized, like, oh, it's easier to just basically everybody form up and just go from NM camp to NM camp to NM camp.
I mean, you guys like say they don't have any forethought, but what makes you think this isn't intended Square Enix, like this isn't what Square Enix intended for Eureka, is horrible NM trains? Because that's basically what hunts are, right? And they just kind of ported hunts into Eureka. I mean, I kind of feel like it's insulting Square Enix's intelligence.
Disingenuous on their part by saying, oh, we didn't intend this. We didn't mean for this to happen.
Have they even said that? Have they even said that they didn't intend for these hunt trains, or are we just assuming?
No, we're just assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we are.
I kind of think that Square Enix kind of planned for this to happen, so that way everyone kind of has, quote, easy fast track to
level
Eureka's
20
end game.
I mean, maybe.
I guess it's not out of the realm of possibilities.
Yeah, it's hard to say, mostly because I don't know.
Because none of us are Square Enix employees.
Yeah, but and they've been guilty of that kind of laziness in the past.
It could go either way, in my opinion.
But don't you think if they did want something different out of the system, that a public test realm would be the easiest way to do that?
It would show them giant flaws in their plan.
Right.
If they were flaws to begin with.
Yeah.
If it wasn't already intended.
Okay. I guess that's fair. So, Juxta wants a completely different game.
not completely different game, but like just have something that like makes our characters unique from one another with like different talents or abilities or something. Anything.
So you want a talent tree?
I mean, it doesn't have to be a talent tree, but if that's what Square Enix is going to give us for round 1, then sure, give us a talent tree. So that my horrible Dark Knight is slightly underleveled than yours, but otherwise it's completely the same.
Right. I mean, that's I guess that's fair. You know, most other MMOs have some kind of binary option of like upgrading skills or, you know, added effects, added bonuses. There are different builds that you can go with inside of each class that you can make.
But the difference in other games, like World of Warcraft, if you're a rogue, that's it. You're a rogue. So I feel like they kind of have to give you sort of different playstyles and options. In FF14, you can be any class you want. If you don't like how your Dark Knight's playing, switch to a warrior tank.
But the problem with that is in Final Fantasy, your job identification is so much stronger, I feel, in Final Fantasy than in like World of Warcraft, because Nika is samurai / paladin. That's what she is.
That's who she is as like a person.
You are thief / ninja. That's who you are, Kahlo. I am red mage. Like, that job distinction is so strong that people will play their class even if it's the most fucking basic boring ass shit in the world.
But here's what Square Enix is afraid of, though, is that they don't want a situation where they go, oh, you're what type of Dark Knight? You're what type of warrior? I don't want you in my party. There is a flaw in that logic, though, because that only applies at pretty much raid levels. And if that's only affecting
1%,
I'll be generous. Let's say 5%.
Ooh,
okay, I'll be generous. I'll be generous. If that only affects 5% of your population, is that a good idea? You know, I was thinking about this the other day. When was the last time you kicked somebody from a dungeon party?
Only when they're idiots.
Only when they have 1351 DPS as a Dark Knight.
Actually, the last time
1951.
The last time I remember actually kicking someone from a party, we were in it was a raid. I don't think it was before the raid roulette, so it must have been when we had the 3 parties. And as a joke, someone had initiated a vote to kick on Juxta.
That was Senpai,
and Senpai was the deciding vote and said yes. Kick him on the final boss.
And
that happened.
Good. Yeah, and he was right to do that. Here's the thing, though, is that there's really only like one of 2 valid reasons to kick somebody from a rando party that you queued from. Either they're being a mouthy idiot or they're being an actively bad player and fucking up the run for you, right? No one in the history of this game has gone, oh, I queued in with a Dark Knight tank, let's kick him. You know what I mean? Like that. The job combinations and party composition for 95% of this game does not matter in iota.
Yeah.
Remember when we did I don't think you were there, but I was on stream when I did it, and one of our peons had misheard what I told him to go as, and so we went in with 3 DPS and a healer, and we were fine.
You were fine.
Yeah.
So, you know, when you think about things like, oh well, having some kind of skill tree is going to impact people that don't pick the one standardized class, the best possible, you know, optimal
maximum
path,
DPS,
that they're going to be discriminated against somehow, maybe at a raid level, maybe. And
only if people are actually parsing that raid, because you know how parsers are banned in this game.
Oh fuck! Well, why don't we get into that shit? Right?
We're already high and shit.
Because on Twitter, apparently somebody had posted a nude mod or something, that some kind of creepy shit that they had made for FF14.
Wow, that is totally gross. Where would you even get one of these nude mods for? I need to go check this out, because I don't even believe that. That doesn't even sound true. Give us a link in the chat.
So apparently someone had posted screenshots using that nude mod on Twitter. And then when they were logged on, a GM reached out to him and said, yeah, you can't do that.
What?
How sketchy is that? How weird is that? And the part of this that bothers me is that the community team and Yoshi P will go out of their way to congratulate raid teams that actively show screenshots that have ACT on the screenshot.
Parses, yeah.
Yeah. There's no consistency. At all.
That's definitely the biggest part of it, because he goes on to specify, and I don't think, at least in the screenshot that we got, I don't think that they had mentioned specifically what screenshot it was, but the person who was being acted upon said, I get why a nude mod, would you'd want it to be deleted, right? But they go on to ask a few questions.
The GM specifically cited a mod as the issue.
Right. And that's when the person said, like, I get nude mods, but goes on to ask a little bit more. And the GM is like, look, our policy basically says that if you take an image from Final Fantasy XIV, redistribute it somewhere, and alter it in any way or hide the watermark, then you are in violation of this very rule.
Right.
But I feel like after how many years is the first time that we've heard anything like this
hiding the watermark is a thing?
It is? Well, yeah.
Well, because when I take screenshots on Steam, they don't. Like, Steam has a legal way of taking screenshots, and that doesn't put the watermark on there.
Apparently,
I do it all the time.
Nika, I'm going to report you to Square Enix right now.
Square
reporting.
Because I know Nika is logged on right now. I expected GM to reach out and contact her over this issue.
I mean, I'm actually curious. If a GM wants to talk to me, I would love to talk about this, because I am very curious now.
Do the same thing that you did in the mod situation and just issue her a warning.
Her name is Nika Kayanian, our Sargatanis server.
But again, they would have to change the way that Steam screenshots worked in this game.
That's Kanayyan.
But there are people there are people who have gotten GM messages from just having risque photos of their character put on Twitter. Not even a mod in
like fapping the realm.
Fapping the realm.
But there's that whole article in Kotaku about like the sex clubs and stuff, like,
but I think that stuff makes Square Enix really uncomfortable. Do you think Square Enix has now gotten the sense that that this game has acquired an image of being filled with nothing but
smut,
furries, and weeaboos? Because that's a lot of times that's what I hear as, like, oh, that's that furry game. I've heard that before. Yeah.
Wow.
I've never heard that.
It's got the cat girls in it. That's some furry shit, right? Like, yeah, dude, I've heard that.
I also learned that I'm secretly a furry.
So, because this game definitely does have a weird reputation from people who have never played it. Between the weird articles on Kotaku. Yeah. Remember that one article where the guy was like, yeah, I joined a free company and it was all, 40-year-old men going, ooh.
Stop.
Right?
Oh, hey, here you go. Look, part of that chat, the player said, so modding is prohibited. And they reply, any use of third-party programs is a direct violation of the Final Fantasy XIV rules and policies. Please note that third-party program use is a violation regardless of whether any screenshots, images, or videos of the third-party program used are posted in public or private. So the fact that you specifically said that when a World First posts a video or posts screenshots
that has ACT all over it,
they're congratulated.
Yep.
They should be all banned. They should be.
That's a pretty significant double fucking standard.
So I guess my request to the World Firsters from now on is to have nude mods along with ACT and see if you get banned after that.
Oh, actually, hey, the player actually says, when they asked if you have any further comments or concerns, they said, I just don't think it's fair to target me when ACT has been around for years and there have been public videos of world first clears, blah, 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 so basically brings up that same point. Please always feel welcome to report any third-party program use that you become aware of so that we may investigate it and take the appropriate actions based on the evidence we find.
So
which they just go, oh, okay.
So Square Enix wants you to be a narc. But they're not denying that there is a double standard here.
Why do we even need to narc? You've seen it.
You commented on it.
You congratulated them. You've clearly seen the picture.
I have to believe that the GMs at Square Enix are better than this.
Hold on. Are we defending ERP nude mods right now?
Kinda, a little bit.
Oh.
I do kind of understand, like, if you have nude mods and post them online, that is like a really weird reputation they probably don't want. But like, it just seems like if you're using it privately, like I used to dat mod in 11 all the time. I used to change my race. I used to give myself like Eunice clothes.
Nika Kyanian on the Sergeant Tannis server.
I don't play 11 anymore.
Danger Center.
But it was never anything that was ever posted anywhere else. It was only just for my private use. And like there were like websites devoted to modding FF11 and those never got shut down. So like, I don't know, like if it's private and nobody's seeing it, what the issue is. Like, remember Samus got banned from Twitch once for streaming nude mods on 14, right?
Ah, that's right. That did happen.
I feel like if it's streamed like that, I understand the company not wanting that reputation. But in private use, I don't see an issue. But I don't know.
It's a double standard. Like to have a GM, basically pull you over to tell you that, hey, what you're posting on social media, not what you've actually done in the game, that they can read or verify through the game files or through your computer through some GM tool. But hey, I noticed you posted this on Twitter. You don't think that's a little alarming? You don't think that's a little draconian on the part of Square Enix?
Yeah,
how could they even confirm that was that person's actual character? That they didn't just find that screenshot somewhere and posted it because they liked it?
Here's the thing, though. What they're saying is that whether the proof is public or private, the actual violation itself isn't posting it. It's doing the mod. So regardless of it, let's say that you take a picture of nude Nero wearing his Odin mask, right? And then juxtaposts it, right? If it says Nero Grigori, they're going to look up Nero Grigori because he's the one who violated it.
Yeah, but if you mod your client and then walk up to somebody else's character, take a picture of their character.
Oh, that's fair.
In first-person view, how do you verify any of this shit? That's the dangerous.
That's pretty sketchy.
That's the dangerous part of enforcing anything through social media.
Recently, the Overwatch devs, and this is actually a few months ago, had mentioned that they're taking their modding and their policing of the community. Because obviously people say that it's one of the more toxic ones out there, to the next level by even looking up YouTube videos and stuff like that. And if they see really, really, really bad examples of it, taking action for that. And I was on the fence, and I knew that I was probably being very hypocritical about this, but the idea that toxic people were getting what was coming to them was enough for me. But you're right, this kind of makes me change my view on honestly all of it, because should you really be using evidence from outside of your game to police it?
Because I thought they said before that if someone harasses someone off the game, or if someone says they did something on Facebook and you give it to them, they're not going to be able to do anything with it because they don't have official proof. It could be
apparently, apparently that's bullshit.
Yeah, that does seem really bizarre. Unless somebody reported him specifically, but even still, their only proof would be out of the game, not in the game. So
exactly. How do you enforce this?
So is it okay, so long as we don't use any types of mods, everything that we use is within the game and the watermark remains on there, we can still do whatever we want? So fapping the realm was okay.
I don't know.
Wasn't it?
I don't know. I think I don't know. Do we want to bring it back to find out?
Did it say altering images in any way is not allowed?
Correct, yeah.
Even color enhancement, or I just feel like so many people Photoshop and make really, really good looking screenshots on Instagram, but they use filters and editing software to make their pictures look really good.
And that helps promote the game well.
Are they not allowed to do that?
Technically, when I made that, there was a banner. Well, there's been tons of banners that we've made for episodes where we've used in-game screenshots, right? Technically,
and we've altered all of those.
We are in
violation.
I take screenshots every time I'm getting to level 70 because I'm going to make this epic collage of being 70 on every single job. And every single time I'm enhancing the
violation.
I'm changing the shadows.
That's am
I going to get banned for that?
Honestly though, this is
I just want to show them how much of a no lifer I am on their game, and they won't let me do that. Come on.
Honestly, though, this is, I think that, there's a huge double standard. And I think that this goes to, a lot of people's point when they go, listen, there's, you've got streamers and raiders that are treated differently by the staff than your average player. And I think that that's really weird.
Yeah, look, I don't expect them to go around on Twitter or YouTube or whatever and just try and figure out who every single video that ACT is on belongs to, whatever, and track everyone down and ban them. That is a little bit too extreme. There's no way that anyone has the manpower for that. But I think what upsets me the most about this, and let me be clear, I don't give a fuck that this person was disciplined for posting nude mods. Fucking whatever. Get your ERP bullshit out of here. But you're right. The fact that when a world first happens, I have to assume that as the developers of this game, that's something that they're probably into and excited for. So they probably watched these videos or at least seen that screenshot. And the fact that they know we can easily track down who those people are, they're using ACT. You broke the rules. Period.
Yeah,
how do they not do anything about that, especially with something as visible as world firsting?
Yeah, and originally I thought it was because, Yoshi P had kind of said, parsers are inherently bad, just don't talk about it. So I kind of figured that seeing it on the world first pages was kind of fallen into that category. But then if they're going to enforce this specifically, that's where the double standard comes in.
Yes.
I always kind of brush it aside as he said, as long as we don't talk about it anywhere in the game, they'll kind of overlook it. I always assumed that was the goal, that was why. But now this just kind of proves that that's not why.
So here's my question then. Going forward, let's say when the next raid comes out, they said, put in a claim or put in a ticket, a report, right? We'll look into it. If enough people were to report the Spaceys for world firsting the next raid with links to a YouTube video, which is clearly the Spaceys beating it with ACT, would we see action taken against them?
Absolutely not. No, I don't think so.
I doubt it, just because of how intense the first world competition is and what that means with the people that follow them and how much outrage there would be. And if they ban their world firsters, who do they have? I just feel like that's horrible.
Well, I mean, honestly, when you I mean, this is kind of the problem with with Twitch and things like that. There are people who have huge megaphones, and if they get banned for a slight or for something that they think is unjust, it's going to force Square Enix to have the conversation. It's going to force them to have the conversation about ACT or about modding, and they don't want to have it. They banned, or I'm sorry, they warned someone that they thought didn't matter enough. That that this would happen and people wouldn't talk about it because no one really knew who they were.
Yeah, I think it was a pretty big example because as I was reading through some more of the chat here, she mentions that, so basically I just have to delete all of my Twitter now because there's a lot of modded stuff. Some people really get into that. I mean, remember even back in FF11, modding the Scorpion harness to look black because it was more sneaky.
Okay.
So I should have got banned for that.
Well, I mean, but the reality of it is that it is Square Enix's game, and they can enforce things however they want to.
Yeah, Soraya, which if that's the Soraya we think it is, hey, what's up? Obviously, she says the standard is that it depends on what they see as damaging to the brand. Someone beating a raid in record time? Great! A nude mod? Oh, think of the children.
I personally think that the world firsters should all mod their characters to have nude mods and still post the video and just see what happens.
Yeah, except your world firsters aren't going to champion this cause.
We want to hear from you. Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. You can answer last week's question if you want. What does Square Enix need to do? What do they need to announce at FanFest to be able to keep you as a customer? Or you could talk about this issue with the nude mods and strange enforcement on the part of the Square Enix team and the GM team. I think because I've seen a lot of people talking about this, a variety of opinions, all the way from, well, it's their game, they can do whatever they want, to, well, shouldn't their dogma at least be consistent? And I mean, both of those things are true. I think both of those things can be true at the same time. But this really does leave a sour taste in my mouth, especially as someone who's a content creator for this community. When are we going to be next on that docket?
The thing I immediately thought of when I read this was last week when I made the banner for our last episode. I got a screenshot of Eureka, I think it was, and I remember putting it, pasting it into Photoshop and then lowering it down just a tad so that watermark was just underneath the line. Because
that's editing the picture.
That is technically editing the picture. Yes, it is.
You're banned.
I'm just still wondering about Steam screenshots.
That's
really
Cololandis, Landis. Yeah, DIS. Yeah, I know how to spell my name.
Because I have the Steam screenshot set to save in a PNG format rather than a JPEG, and they save to a separate folder so that way they are higher resolution. That's also I'm so curious because they have their game on Steam. They know Steam screenshots is a thing that's allowed. So, and I also run mine through Steam, even though I don't have it through Steam, I can still run it through Steam, and I take screenshots through Steam.
Yeah, I have no idea how that.
I'm honestly curious on their policy involving that.
So we should ban everyone using Steam?
I don't know. If you've taken a screenshot and posted it somewhere without the watermark, I'd assume so.
And you're nude, though.
Oh, okay.
Remember, it's only if it shows the game in a negative light, which then still begs the question, why are we still around?
Very good question. I mean, shouldn't we have been, at least warned? I feel a little bit left out, actually.
Because we haven't been warned over this.
We've been doing lots of screenshots for our title cards, and why haven't...
Well, okay, look, not even that, because the screenshots for our title cards, those are never negative in any way. But on our show, we get downright pretty raunchy sometimes. Fanfics.
Do we need to start making our title cards be raunchier?
Maybe.
And here's the funny thing. I feel like anytime a title card may have gotten to the point where maybe it was a bit too much, I don't think we use actual, completely by accident. This wasn't intentional, but we don't use actual in-game footage. Remember the one that I made that you said looked like a political cartoon, where it was like Yoshi's face on like the Grim Reaper holding bags of money?
Yes, I do remember.
Yeah. There's technically there was no FF14 properties that was used for that. Now, if the clip art people come after us, we might be in trouble.
We want to hear from you. Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. There's not a whole lot going on in FF14. Do we have an email or something to read?
We do, actually.
Jesus, I wasn't ready for you to be prepared for that.
I went through all the emails that we had and pruned some out. So we currently have 3 emails. All the other ones were either they were too old or they were just rehashing stuff that we've rehashed so many times that it's not even worth
rehashing.
Rehashing. So I'd actually rehashing. So I'd actually like
you're a re.
So we have 3. 2 of them are pretty decent discussion topics, but there's another one that I just thought was funny.
Jesus, just read one.
Okay, all right.
Well, hold on. Can I have a little bit more setup first, please?
Fucking why?
I'm gonna go get a drink.
Okay, so this comes courtesy of Auric Graham of Adamantoise. Hello, LBR. I recently ran into someone that Nero has been trying to hide from us all for the last decade or so. As I was doing my daily expert dungeon, I saw that one of my party members was named Grigori. Eric Grigori. Nero, have you been hiding this brother of yours from us because you are ashamed of your true heritage?
Damn it.
This true heritage being that of a samurai. A red-headed ginger samurai like your brother Eric? Do you hide under this false identity of Dark Knight to try and throw us off and keep us from knowing your deep, dark secret? Is this why you were so against samurai before it was announced? Nero, love yourself for who you really are. A red-headed ginger samurai. This is a safe place. It's really not a safe place at all. Now that we all know the truth, you should find your brother. I'm sure he misses you. Go be yourself, Nero, your samurai self.
It's not my brother. I hate to tell you that.
redheaded stepchild?
Yes. That is
okay.
exactly
all right,
it.
cool.
Yeah,
All right, so a real email now. This one came courtesy of August Sinclair of Goblin, and I thought that this was actually a pretty interesting one. It's something that I'm aware of, we haven't touched on, that I kind of feel like it was a missed opportunity. But anyway, he goes on. He says, so I've been a long time listener, and I'm now on my second listen through of a Radio Reborn at work. Oh my God. Thanks for making work awkward sometimes. So I had an idea that you all will probably fart on while re-listening to an episode. You guys were talking about 11 and how in Wings of the Goddess it was shitty that they didn't do much for the old areas. Make them a wee bit different, and they called it good. It was shitty, but it had given me an idea, and my idea is this, far on if you so choose, that if Yoshi wanted to go in that direction for 14, that I feel like it would actually be fairly easy and could also have some interesting content by going back in time through Louis Soir or whatever. Anyway, I'm sure that they still have all those old zones hanging around out there somewhere in some dusty-ass computer. They could reuse those old zones, give us a chance to go back with 0 of the 1.0 shit, other than just the zones. This would give legacy players a chance to walk down memory lane, and maybe a chance for 2.0 players to get to experience some of that older lore. And it goes on and on and on and on. But basically, the idea is that, see, I feel like with 11, we thought it was lazy because they were just trying to reuse stuff. But the 1.0 zones aren't even being used, so they're kind of just going to waste. And I know, Nero, you're actually a pretty, I think, big proponent of being able to find ways to reuse or reconnect with that old lore.
Yeah, sure. There's a couple of problems with that, though. I don't think that the current engine would be able to handle those zones because they were massive. They were huge, and they had no zone lines either. So you would have what would be the equivalent of like 4 zones.
Yeah, like meshed together into one.
Meshed together into a single zone, yeah.
Yeah, like Mordona originally was like 4 Mordonas stuck together. It was huge.
Yeah.
Well, what about even just taking sections of it? I mean, it's not like you have to put the entire zone back in.
You would basically have to rework the entire thing and do.
You guys not remember like what 1.0 zones were? They were
awful.
Copy paste.
They were just
over.
They were legitimately really bad zones.
So you think it would take the same amount of work to rework them that it would to just make a whole new zone anyway?
They'd have to make new zones that looked like the old zones.
Yeah, and at that point, why go back?
Do you really want to go back to the Black Shroud Labyrinth?
Fuck no!
All right, well, first of all, I never got a chance to experience any of those zones, so I don't know the downsides of them.
You've never watched a YouTube about it?
Fuck no, why would I do that? It's 1.0.
I don't think it would be that hard to implement lore-wise, though, because already we see the past when we use the echo and blah, blah, blah. There could easily be some kind of thing that alters our echo to allow us to just, like, jump back to those areas and explore.
Yeah,
I don't think that would be a problem.
I would rather them work on new areas and expand the world. I don't want to go back.
Although,
I don't think anyone needs that.
Wings of the Goddess, it kind of felt like because they were unable to then, like, scale their game bigger, they had to then reuse things. I feel like if they're out of ideas, they've expanded the world as far as it can go, then consider this.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it's time for that anywhere in the next, like, 10 years.
Okay, that might be fair. One thing that I would be interested, though, is instead of going back in time to see them, exploring what they now look like after the Calamity. What do you guys think of that?
That's what all of 2.0 was.
Right.
No.
That's what all of A Realm Reborn was. What are you talking about?
What?
He's talking about like those areas in Kurthis that were destroyed. We've had conversations about the areas that were knocked off the map completely because it's covered in like rubble and shit.
Yeah,
so
but there's
an excavation team.
There's all of like 3 of those.
Yeah, well, let's explore those.
Is there only
Get an
3?
excavation team going in there, plow through them. See what's there.
We got Western Korthus, so we've already gotten that. That was a Heavensward zone. The Eastern,
was that a 1.0 zone?
Yeah.
Western Korthus? Wow.
All of that Korthus was a zone.
But there's still like so many Kurthis.
There's all one zone.
We don't have. There's a shroud that was knocked off the map, and there's a bunch of Kurthuses we don't have.
All right, well, all right. Apparently, I'm just dumb. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, you're real dumb.
All right, stupid.
I mean, the only part of the shroud that we don't have is the West Shroud, which is supposedly completely destroyed. I think that it would be cool to go back there for like a dungeon, but not as like a zone.
Okay, I would like to ask though that if we do, I want them to make a dungeon out of wherever Nika last saw her companion, so they can give an actual end to that companion quest line where you find the skeleton with the armor that you recognize.
I can't remember which part of of the Shroud. They say like meet me in the Shroud at this place.
Oh, it is even in the Shroud too.
I think it might have been. Maybe that's what happened. They were at the Shroud piece that got knocked off. I can't remember specifically. But no, we only have Central and Western Kurthus. We don't have East, South, North.
Well, South technically we do, because that's the adjoining piece of land between Mordona and Kurthus. It's just we bypass that in the zone line. So there's no way, there's no way to go remake it. It's just gone. I mean, technically it's there. It's just they don't make us walk through it because there's nothing interesting.
There isn't enough there.
Right.
All right. Fair enough. Well, Augustus.
So it's really just it's like northeastern Kurthus that we have.
That's fair, but you can't imagine, even though the areas have been completely collapsed, you don't think that somewhere there's a bunch of like beastmen or monsters like scavenging the area and creating their own tribes there because there's no humanity there. So
I mean, there's probably some interesting shit that they could do with it, but not enough to make an expansion out of it. It would have to be, like I said, it's a set piece for a dungeon, I think.
That's probably fair.
But not much more than that.
Which they have done before with, what was the...
Bardum's Landum.
And with Halatali and with...
Halatali, kind of.
The Ixal place that we thought...
place.
Shut up, Juxta!
Spike Mountain.
The Ixali place that we thought would be an entire area, but instead they're just like, nah, it's literally just a dungeon.
Spike Mountain.
Oh, that's what I thought I was saying with Halatali, but I said it wrong.
That is not Halatali.
No, it's not Halatali, but that's what I was thinking in my head. It's... God, fuck.
It's the mountain range. Bad. Yeah, I forget what it is.
That zone.
Zephytol.
That's what it is. Yes,
Zephytol. That's
wow. Spike Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
We are horrible.
So we have one other email that I really wanted to touch on, and Nika is going to be the poo-pooer on this one, guarantee it, guys. This comes from Hero Maniac of Cactar. He says, hey, host, it's the Hero Maniac from Cactar writing in again, though with a long one. I wanted to write in to mention something that Zeno said that could have bigger implications and thought now's the right time since we've had the story spoiler episode. So when talking in front of Shinryu, Zeno suggests that primal tempering works by the large presence of the primal overpowering the lesser presence of the person being tempered. Zeno suggests that the echo inflates your presence to be larger than that of the primal, so when the primal goes to temper the warrior of light, the warrior's presence is large and can't be tempered. Now, Xenos doesn't go into too much detail on what exactly this presence is, but when discussing this, I came up with an interesting idea, and apparently he also says that this is somewhat covered by the warrior of light as a primal theory, which I've never heard myself, but essentially what it's asking or theorizing is, could the warrior of light use the echo to potentially temper people?
That'd be cool.
But like, now here's a question: when primals do it, do they do it like subconsciously? Like they don't mean to do it? Like just because their presence is higher, it automatically tempers, or are they actually using a power to temper other people?
We actually have that lore with Ramu, because he was quote accidentally tempering all the sylphs, so that's why he kind of reclused to himself deep in the woods.
Okay, so you're saying that when primal tempers someone, they're not making the choice to temper. If you're within a certain vicinity of them, you just become tempered.
All right, so here's my next question is, the Warrior of Light is next to a lot of Scions, and they all do whatever I say, so are they not tempered to me?
I was going to bring that up too. It does feel like people are awfully quick to be drawn to the Warrior of Light, and those that aren't might have their own big enough echo or presence. Like some of the higher up leaders and such. But all of the lesser people are like, oh, you're really cool. Let me just do things for you.
That's personally why I think that this theory is interesting. And again, I don't give Square Enix enough credit to actually come up with something like this or pursue it. But the idea that the reason that people are all so gung-ho about the Warrior of Light, so quick to trust us, so quick to always be like, oh, the Warrior of Light, they're a stand-up dude or girl, is that technically they could all be tempered by us. How would the world react to that idea?
I mean, it's an interesting thought. I don't know that I believe it. I just think it's more ham-fisted writing that allows us to. It's just like every quest is so convenient. Like, oh, we were looking for someone to tend my grocery stand. Actual quest from fucking Stormblood.
There's a couple interesting things in the chat. Blandy says, but when the primals temper people, those people cannot be brought back. They are killed. The warrior of light would be killing people. Not necessarily, because the primals are tempering people not with the echo. They're tempering with whatever power primals have. If the warrior of light can temper people using the echo is probably a different kind of power. And Gisela says some people used to fear the echo because they think it controls the other's minds. And I feel like fears like that and phobias like that stem from somewhere in the past where maybe the echo was not as controlled by the people that had it, and maybe something like that did happen and that fear was spiraled forward. So if that is true, maybe it did exist in the past and they were able to temper other people.
We've always been, I feel like there's always been this sort of line that if Square Enix wanted to take the narrative in that direction, they could. But the idea that we're always being set up to eventually or potentially turn the narrative in the way that sees us as the villain, right? Like when the Warriors of Darkness came to our world, in their eyes, they were the heroes and we were the villains, right? I mean, their world had been consumed by darkness. We know other worlds that have been consumed by light. And what I think this is interesting in doing is, if we were tempering people accidentally or otherwise, or even if we aren't, as Nika said, just this idea or this rumor that could sow some type of panic or discourse into the general population, thinking that the Warrior of Light has that ability, I think could be a really interesting turn in the narrative. Not something that I'm going to give Square Enix the credit of being able to do, but
yeah, I just don't ever see them taking it in that direction.
I don't think it would be kind of cool if that's like almost an unintended side effect that Heidelin never even realized would happen either, because so like what Heidelin's chosen few that have the echo, right? So like we only know like 3 or 4 other people in this entire game that have it, and I feel like maybe she just didn't realize this was going to be a thing, and then maybe it's not something that the warrior, like I'm looking at the example the person in the email gave, where they're like, oh, you have to save someone's life, and there has to be some big buildup where the warrior of light realizes they can do this, and they have to decide between becoming a bad person and tempering the kidnapper or finding another way. And I feel like maybe the warrior of light wouldn't be the one to do it, but somebody like Kryl or somebody else we know with the echo goes through something like this. I mean, if Kryl still has enough echo left, I don't know, but somebody like that, in order to do that, I could maybe see them doing a subplot like that, but I can't see it happening with the actual
well, one of the things,
but someone else like Ysayle had the echo and she did some shitty things and ended up like spiraling down the wrong path. So I don't see why this can't be something that like someone near to us does.
And one of the other things they point out in the email too is pointing to the experiments that weird scientisty guy did, like on Fordola with the echo, the hyper tuning.
Yeah, they took it from Kryl and gave it to Fordola.
Yes, the hyper tuning process. So I mean, even if the Warrior of Light themselves doesn't have the ability right now to temper people, I guess the idea is, how powerful can the echo get? Because I feel like if the echo stands up to being tempered, that there could always be a possibility there that either with enough the echo with enough power, or like you said, maybe the Warrior of Light has just never tried, that there is the potential to temper with it.
Nothing.
I like that idea.
I mean, I'm kind of interested in this. Like, I obviously don't think the Warrior of Light like is a primal that was summoned by people.
Right? No,
like,
not
so, like,
not in a 1-to-1 ratio.
But like this as a theory or a plot point would be very interesting, and I think it would really delve into the psyche, like, because the characters as we see them, we know they're us, they don't speak, they're just whatever dialogue choices we choose that don't change anything. But I think it would be very interesting to explore the Warrior of Light's psyche a little bit by doing a plot like this, even if it's not the Warrior of Light tempering, even if it's someone else with the echo and the Warrior of Light
that would have to be the way that they do it. Yes.
Like I think that it would really shine some light on, it doesn't have to go super dark, but a little bit darker of a plot point, and I would be interested in that, actually.
Yeah, no, I think you would definitely have to do it through another character, because this game's never going to delve into the Warrior of Light psyche, because we are each the Warrior of Light ourselves. It's silent protagonist, so it has all the benefits and downfalls of the silent protagonist.
Right, but the thing is, as long as it shows that the Warrior of Light then understands that this is something my power can also do, and the other characters will be like, what do you think about this? And you get like a dialogue choice that pops up that's something in your mind.
But I mean, knowing Square Enix, though, they'd strip you of the power first, and then show you how bad it is, and then be like, yeah, it's bad, so don't use it like that.
Don't do the bad thing, okay? Just be.
Am I wrong though? Am I wrong though? Like they would strip it from you so you would watch other people use it and how it affects other people, and then you know what I mean? Like it would just. I think it would take a lot of the narrative punch out of it if they strip it from you first.
No, actually, I could see them keeping it the whole time, and at the end, whether because they'd use someone like Aaron Vald or if we were lucky, Lise would. Wait, does Lise have the echo?
No.
All right. So someone like Aaron Vald ends up, realizing, I can temper people, goes rogue, turns evil, we have to kill him, whatever. And then getting some dumb thing at the end of it where Kryle's like, I knew that you were too good to blah, 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 blah. You use it responsibly. And then just being like, I think that would be real lame.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think the Square Enix could handle this properly at all.
You use it or you wouldn't use it badly or whatever.
And you just click, nope, never. Click the end.
That's something someone who is tempered would say.
But that's a good point. But like that's actually something that was an early feature of a lot of MMOs that seems to have really died off, is like the morality feature, right? Where if you killed another player or an NPC, you'd go red. You stole something from someone, your player would go red. And there's none of that in Eorzea at all. There's no iota of that at all. And I mean, it's actually been stripped from, I think, a lot of modern MMOs. And I think that's a bummer, because like I know that there were entire factions of red players in Ultima Online that would like band together as PK factions and like looters, and they made their own version of fun, and it was a way to keep the game dynamic. And I'm not saying that there needs to be something like that in FF14. It's just it makes me wonder why a system like that has gone away over time. And that kind of bums me out, because it gives the player far less agency inside of the world than, you're Superman and you're going to save the world. It's a very strict linear path that this narrative follows. And what if you didn't want to be the warrior of light? What if you don't want to be the warrior of light? What if you just want to be some dude? Or what if you want to actively be a villain? I think that those aspects would have been much more interesting to explore in a Final Fantasy universe and setting than always being charged with, we got to save the world again. Here we go. We got to put my pants on to go save the world. God damn. Like it gets
Final Fantasy
old.
would ever get to that though. Like they did something like this with the online Star Wars game, didn't they? Where you're on different sides, and depending on like how many people clicked a certain option in the party would see a completely different story. Like they did stuff like that.
I don't know about that, because I never played any
like you could be on the light side or the dark side, and basically there'd be light side and dark side options, and it like people, this is what people told me anyway, and you could click on different options, and whichever one had the highest whatever would be the one that showed to the entire party.
Interesting.
Which I think would be kind of cool. But
you know what I've kind of sort of just realized after or attempting to sort of have a theory crafting here on the lore, the potential story of FF14, and I think that being juxtaposed next to the way that we were talking about Infinity War prior to the show is, we're sitting here and someone came up or emailed us with what I thought upon first looking at it, a pretty interesting conversation, have a pretty interesting debate that nobody here is really into. Like, that is a really interesting idea, but none of us give a shit. Remember the way that we used to talk about the story after 2.55? Right?
Well, there were so many possibilities.
There were, but now, and I think specifically with Stormblood, it is the worst example of it. But it's not even fun to talk about the possible outcomes or the possible story or lore. Square Enix has somehow managed to suck every bit of excitement and fun out of this narrative as they possibly could.
I mean, specifically in Stormblood, yeah, I think so. Because I mean, what do we have to look forward to next as a narrative arc?
What do you care?
Xenos is back. Oh boy.
Do you even care what happens to Alamigo or Stormblood or any of the characters?
Not particularly.
I mean, even at the point where if they killed off Yugiri, I'd just be like, well, good. At least now she doesn't have to go through all this bullshit anymore. I mean, you did her a mercy.
You know, like with how heartrending something like the Calamity scene was, you know, like at this point, I kind of like, you know what? Go for it.
Give us another one. Why not?
Where's that? Y'all got another moon up there?
One of the moons. You know what? Dollar moons.
I'd actually like someone. I'm going to put this on someone in the chat. I'm going to try and do it myself, but I'd like you to walk someone through the story of Stormblood. Maybe show them some cutscenes or something, and then show them the opening cinematic to A Realm Reborn, and see if they can put together that those are even the same fucking game.
I mean, let's see. With Stormblood, you had the monk duel on the hand. You know, that was kind of cool.
I mean, that was kind of okay.
You'd temporalize it and make her run around nude.
Wow.
Thanks, Ron Jeremy. Hashtag me too.
We won't do that because Square Enix doesn't like it when you do that. We don't want to get in trouble with Square Enix.
We don't?
No, I don't really care anymore. Samurai, you know, and then we saw Samurai do a thing in the Stormblood opening cinematic.
Ruin lots of buildings, cause lots of property damage.
He was drunk. Okay, give him a break.
So, I mean, I don't know what everyone's problem is. Stormblood had a perfectly serviceable storyline. No.
I still watch A Realm Reborn.
No one ever.
Opening, and I still get so hyped. Like, it's just everything about it is so good.
Okay. You guys are being a little unfair. Just think about how much narrative impact it had when we learned that Yida was actually Lise and how much that changed the game.
You want to pretend that I'm a 3-year-old and explain that to me.
So a character that I didn't give a shit about became another character who I gave even less of a shit about just without a mask.
I thought her story was interesting enough, but I don't think they did enough to explore it.
No, they didn't do shit to explore it.
Like I actually I thought it was actually a very interesting thing, pretending to be her. She had this tragic childhood, and we got like 1 or 2 flashbacks about her dad.
Go to Doma!
That's all we got was
no,
like 1 or 2
shut
flashbacks.
up, go to Doma!
About her dad.
No, shut up, go to Doma!
Yeah, basically, that's it.
The only character development, I'm doing air quotes for those listening on the podcast, and actually for anyone because you can't see us. The only character development that I remember of Lise through all of Stormblood is at some point on the dock, she was crying or whining because she's like, oh, will I be as good as he and
No, shut up, go to Doma!
She was already in Doma.
Fine, whatever. Go do more Doma things.
That's it. Woo. Whole expansion for her to be like,
go check out the ramen bowl. That's what I'm doing. I'm doing an impression of what this game does. I'm way more interested in what's going on over here. No, go to Doma.
Our Samurai's cool.
Fine. I guess I don't have much of a choice there.
So does the story, do you guys think that, like, when's it gonna get better? Are we even gonna get back to having a compelling narrative at any point, do you think?
Yes, and that's going to be when we learn that Thancred is actually not Thancred, it's his brother,
Sancred.
Can we just, like, reflect on how much Lise not being Yida really had no effect whatsoever on the game, and they hyped that up so hard at Las Vegas Fan Fest.
Even if she was Yida, she'd have done really the exact same things that she did as Lise.
That's why they made a really bad narrative choice and not making Yida someone. Like, I feel like Yida should have still been alive, and she should have been somewhere either captured or on the enemy side. And I think that way it would have been. I don't know what they would have had to do, but they could have incorporated Yida as a character.
How do you not take that trope?
Should have been Yida.
How do you not take that trope? How do you set yourself up for the dead sibling and not use it?
Yeah.
How do you not do that?
I have no idea.
If I ever get to ask Yoshi P a question, that's going to be it. How was Yida not alive? How did you not capitalize on that?
I mean, to be fair, we've got 2 more pieces of MSQ to go through, so that could happen.
I will bet my left nut Yida doesn't show up.
I'm with you. I'm with you. All
right, our left nuts have been betted.
Well, but I don't know what we're betting against.
I don't know either.
Yeah. Neither of us win in this. We just have to cut off a nut.
I'll take the nuts.
What?
How about if Yida's not in it? Like, if it turns out she's not in it, we'll bet against Juxta. So if Yida's not in it at expansion's end, we get to kick him in the balls.
Yeah, I mean...
I've already done that.
Yeah, you did that once.
I know.
Was it fun?
It was a lot of fun.
Oh, was it?
I don't agree to that.
We made him dance afterwards.
That's right. Tried to do the Manderville. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, good times. Good times.
No, it really wasn't.
I mean, like we've got Yotsuyu without the memory.
Jesus Christ!
You've got Xenos coming back.
Stop! I skipped these cutscenes for a reason. Okay.
like where? What's the next plot point?
The lives
matter. The lives matter.
Okay, Yida lives. That's what it should have been.
Yida lives matter.
The Magic Voice doesn't know how to say Yida. You gotta.
Okay. Well, are we even saying it right? Have they ever voiced that name? I don't even know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Was it Yida or Ida?
Remember that potato that's
the midget,
dead now?
Yeah, the midget who died.
He's dead, by the way. Remember that?
The potato that became a baked potato?
Oh.
Dang. All right.
Give him some butter and sour cream.
Poppin' Poplimos, guys. Okay, but sure.
I want like an Eorzean fast food chain to have Poppin' Poplimos.
Am I the only one who's upset?
And they're just like deep fried
that Xenos is coming back somehow.
Meat parts. No, you're not. No. You're not at all.
Can we talk about that?
What? Do we have to? I really don't want to.
How?
But yeah, Xenos is coming back.
Why?
And it's dumb. It's dumb. It's patently dumb.
Why is Xenos?
Because here's the thing. Square Enix promised a villain that we would hate.
I guess if you keep bringing him back enough, I'll hate him.
And I mean, that did
the Seymour effect.
See, like, if you just...
That's true.
If you
write Seymour a lot more when he wouldn't die.
That's true. But if you write a character poorly enough, you naturally hate him as someone who, can recognize bad narrative structure.
But there's a difference between hating a character because they're a bad character or hating a character because they're so good at being a villain.
Yeah, agree.
Exactly.
Hate them. Like, there's a difference.
Square Enix does not agree with that. So hate is hate.
So why do we think that Xenos is back?
Because, look, had the Eyes of Nidhogg not been destroyed, you could MacGuffin those somehow. But those are gone now. Like...
But how did he live, or does he have clones? Like, what's going on here?
He's that Ascian, right?
Well, okay, hang on.
He's not an ass. He's Garlean.
No, I'm saying like
transformation into Shinryu. Was that an actual, like, when a vessel becomes Leviathan, the vessel would no longer ever come back, right? Like, or was it a different kind of transformation, like a Ysael into Shiva?
Doesn't matter. He came back into Xenos, killed himself.
Yeah.
And then his body, and there were just the eyes sitting there, which were then stabbed. So,
what happened to him?
I would assume off into the aether.
I was assuming that one Ascian took over Xenos' body, which is who that other...
The body disappeared.
Yeah, but we don't know what Ascians can do.
Yeah.
Okay, so if it's just someone impersonating Xenos, cool. You know what I think they should do?
So you think it's an Ascian impersonating Xenos?
Yeah.
What does that accomplish?
Do you think that's who it was at the end when, like, the Emperor was looking at the Ascian who removed his hood and there's someone sitting there?
That it was Xenos?
And he goes, you.
Yeah, probably Xenos. That's kind of what I figured.
I was actually just thinking about that this morning. How have they not going back? They've been ignoring everything so far. Every new plot point they make, they just file it into, we'll come back to that later. Let's create a new plot point.
All their after credit scenes tied together. So the last one showed that it was an Ascian revealing, or, taking the hood off. This one showed that Xenos was, like, sitting there. So maybe...
Yeah, there's a reasonable expectation to think that those two things might be connected.
But, like, we had 100% no expectations that it could have been Xenos. We're like, oh, maybe the Ascians brought back someone else from the dead. But we never thought it would have been Xenos. So I don't know.
The idea that Xenos has been an Ascian all along?
No. Rejected.
Yeah.
Xenos is that stupid guy's son, remember?
Yeah, he's the Emperor's son.
Yeah.
He's the prince.
I'm not.
This is just getting so dumb.
It kind of is.
I'd rather read a fanfic.
It was Gaius all along. I'm with Argent Esper.
I'd be okay with that, I guess.
Remember that time when the Ascians were doing mean, bad Ascian things on the moon?
Yeah. Whatever happened to that?
No, didn't they just summon the Warriors of Darkness up there? Like that was all they did, wasn't it?
Was that?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I think, yeah, we saw them up on the moon and someone had stepped forward all in a shadow, like they were like cloaked and stuff in shadow. I think that ended up being the Warriors of Darkness.
Do you think that they could be building to something bigger the whole time and that it's actually really good?
No.
Okay.
There's no way that they tie every bad thing that they've done this entire time into one good story. They can't. That's impossible. No. I don't. Even if you were to hire the Russo brothers on for this, you still don't salvage the storyline of this game.
I mean, to be fair,
what if, just spitballing, but roll with me here, what if Thanos comes to the moon with those Ascians and he starts reality gemming them out of existence?
Stop it.
Get out of here.
There's
but
no
they could do something similar with Ascian powers or the Echo, maybe. No, I don't know.
I mean, maybe, you guys were talking about the Echo earlier, like,
just look at what happened to Fordola when you forcefully gave her the Echo. She seemed almost tempered herself by the Echo, right? She was pretty crazy.
Right.
Who was that?
Fordola.
Oh.
When they took it from Kral, gave it to Fordola, but it was a forceful giving of the Echo, and we fought her, and she had some weird, crazy powers. Her eyes were glowing, and she was almost tempered herself by the Echo.
Do we know for certain that Kral no longer has the Echo?
I don't think they've said one way or the other.
They haven't said one way or the other.
They drained her of the Echo, but we're not sure if she doesn't have any left.
Researched her and channeled it into Fordola, or they just kind of like connected them so that they shared it. Like they didn't say.
Yeah, they never. That whole scene was kind of unclear.
Yeah, speaking of Fordola, though, specifically, like we have the power of the Echo, and we occasionally get to see into people's pasts, right? Fordola's Echo is so much that anyone who's around her, she starts seeing into her life. Like that's one of the big points that it was making on why she wanted to die, was because she feels so guilty about everything she's done, because any person she comes in contact with, she relives everything. So there may be some potential for the Echo to be more of a weapon there, but the question is, does Square Enix capitalize on that, or do we get an entire patch where we just follow Connie Senna around and she talks about how she's not sure if she can lead her country or not?
God.
Oh, God.
That would be the worst, wouldn't it?
It would so be bad.
That was the point with the Sultana that I stopped caring about the story. That was the point that I started skipping. I'm a cutscene skipper, guys.
Emo Sultana?
Yep, Emo Sultana. I'm a cutscene skipper now. Proud of it.
It is pretty frustrating. It is pretty frustrating. I mean, I feel like in the last 2 MSQ injections that the story hasn't advanced much at all.
They have no idea where they're going.
Yeah, it really does feel compassless.
At this point in 3.0, we were like learning about, what was that, the Raven, or that... We were learning about...
the Griffin?
The Griffin. Thank you.
There you go. Yeah.
And we were like, so like we didn't know where we were going.
And still faffing about with the Warriors of Darkness as well.
Yeah, but we still had like kind of a direction.
I mean, we sat here and speculated on, what was going to be coming next, and we're struggling through Stormblood.
We know we're gonna have to deal with that stupid Asashi guy,
brother or cousin or whatever he was.
Oh my God,
doesn't like us.
That guy is so animu too. Like,
I hate his haircut. Honestly, if he had a different haircut, I'd be fine with him.
I feel like
hate his haircut so much.
I feel like maybe Square Enix looks at these patches as like character development, like we're supposed to be becoming endeared to these characters and like becoming closer and like forming bonds, but it's really doing absolutely nothing for me.
I am more embonded to Hori Boulder than I am the main character.
Well, to be fair, we got to go one-on-one with him once.
He was really cool.
He was pretty cool. Whatever happened to him?
I think he's getting on with Anor right now.
I think he hangs out in the Rising Stone, doesn't he?
Which we never go back to.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back there. Hang out with the boulder.
Do that.
Go ahead. Nothing's stopping you. You just won't clear MSQ quest. Definitely, you should restart your subscription to be able to hang out with Hoary Boulder.
We're going back to Doma in the next patch, guys.
But the thing is, dude,
Okay, but to be fair,
It could wrap up, Doma.
what do we got going on in fucking...
There's nothing going on anywhere.
At least the music in Alamigo isn't as bad as Doma music.
Do 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 do.
The thing is that stop.
That's literally every single song in Stormblood.
There should be stuff happening in Alamigo.
Single song.
It's a newly formed country. It needs help. Shit's happening, but it's not.
But nothing is happening.
Yeah.
It should be happening, but instead we're in Doma. Well, Alamigo, who has been recently liberated, no longer has any direction or leadership or people who have never been slaves, because there are people born into that shit. Like they need some direction, but yeah, we're just leaving them to fend for themselves.
Dude, I've been okay. So I said last time on the show that I've played a little bit of Elder Scrolls Online. I've been playing a little bit more, not a ton, but just been doing overworld quests and doing a very basic comparison between the way that game approaches its overworld versus the way that FF14 approaches its overworld.
Okay,
and I've been going through and clearing all of the Stormblood quests that I didn't bother to do.
That's less interesting.
Why would you do that?
To compare the quest structure, because if you're doing overworld content, you've pretty much got quests or fates or hunts, I guess. But like that's it. That's really all there is to do, and that's kind of the same. There's really just sort of the same elements going on in ESO as well, but for some reason it hangs together as a living world a little bit better than FF14 does. I'm a little bit more invested in the small quests that they have you do than I am with FF14.
Well,
I can't read any. Some of those, dude. Some of the quests in 14 have four or five dialogue bubbles before you actually get the fucking quest. I'm not reading that shit. I'm not reading it.
And it's just to walk over there and pick up some crabs for me.
Exactly. At least Elder Scrolls reads it at me. You know what I mean? Like I don't have to fucking do all the goddamn reading.
Let me speak to that.
Is every single character voice acted?
Yeah, damn near. I mean, anything that any character that you can accept a quest from, yeah, that shit's voice acting.
Comparing that to what I went through when I was playing leveling up in Legion, for World of Warcraft, even though they use the same hub and spoke quest system as what Stormblood does, what I like about that is that you actually feel like and see the zone and the world and the NPCs, as minuscule as they are, changing around you. Whereas, yeah, you go up to, where the Heaven on High Tower is, right? And people are like, oh, yeah, go find me some things over there, kill these turtles, and I think there's a lady who got lost around the corner, bring her back here.
Yeah, there's some guy who's having problem fishing. Oh boy, that was a great 3-arc story quest. Dude has a problem fishing. Fuck off, Square Enix. What are you doing?
Lots of people have problems fishing when the rod gets soft, so it's actually very important.
Yeah, but I mean, at least on Elder Scrolls, it's like I come across a fucking destroyed tower, and they're like, there's an ancient curse that got released from that tower, and I'm like, all right, ancient curse. That's something that I can get around. Fucking help me fish? Fuck off. What the fuck? How is this comparable? I'm level 17 on ESO. This is a level 68 quest? What the fuck, Square Enix? Can't you put a little bit higher stakes behind it? Can't you find something a little bit more interesting to do than here? Tend my vegetable stand. Fuck's sake.
1 in 5 1 says play Dino Tracks.
Here's the thing. If you can't make your overworld quests interesting, don't make them.
Yeah, there are a couple interesting quests, at least in not the vegetable stand one, but in the Azim Steppe, there are a couple with the the race that comes back to life over and over. They have some interesting lore-based
blue
quests.
ones.
I don't remember what they're called.
Nika,
Dothraki.
Look,
there's one. I mean,
I know who you're talking about because I thought the concept behind the tribe was pretty cool, but even their quests were so dumb. And the reason you're there was even worse because the stupid guy sitting on the throne is like, I need you to go find out what they're all about.
No, but I mean, like the quest where you like help one of them commit suicide so they won't be brought back to life. Like that one blew my mind.
Wow,
I was like, did I really just help someone commit suicide? But it made me sit there for a second, and I was like, wait a second, like they have the potential to make cool overworld quests like that. But most of them don't fall into.
I'm sorry, hang on. I still have my notes from the fucking different types of stands in the Azim Steppe that you have to remember. This person sells meat at cheap prices.
All right, I cannot defend those ones.
Okay,
you made notes.
But here's my fucking point. If you can't make overworld quests interesting, don't make them. Spend the time making something else.
I'll actually do you one better.
Fates are quantifiably boring. Nobody levels up through fates. Very few people level up through doing quests. I've been trying it.
Yep, dungeons. I mean, I
it's
do it.
Dungeons.
I do it while in the queues, like because DPS queues are forever, right? So I'll queue up and then do a few quests or fates in the meantime.
Yeah.
If someone brings you a list of quests that they're going to be implementing and writing into the game, like whether you're Yoshi or wherever it goes to, whoever brought you a quest that has you tending vegetable stands, that person should have immediately been fired, and you should have went and put a job up on the hiring board for a new quest designer.
I'm just saying, like, out of all, like, it feels like there's a lot of manpower and effort being put towards quests because that's a lot of text you got to write. Mm-hmm. And I feel like Square Enix doesn't have enough interesting stories to be able to tell in those quests, so only tell the ones that are worth telling. They're
basically the ones that have a picture when you click on them. Those are the interesting ones. If they don't have a picture, they're not.
Not always. Not always.
Then we don't have any quests in Stormblood. Bad business decision.
Listen,
maybe you could have got another dungeon.
It depends. If you are taking manpower away from having to write text for quests and put more manpower into, I don't know, designing something interesting or putting the expected amount of content out with your first patch of the expansion, then I think that's worth doing. Because this is what I see, is that Square Enix wasted a whole lot of time making quests as opposed to making something like Eureka that would have been interesting out of the gate of Stormblood. Instead, we sat around and dicked around and continuing to do dungeons and bad raids for two patch cycles until we got to something that broke the monotony a little bit. And now it feels like it's too little too late. You missed showcasing that to the people that you were bringing in with all of those Mrs. Freshly's packets and fucking, Papa
John's.
Yeah.
There you go.
Papa John's or the billboards, whatever you were doing to market this thing. Those people have already fallen off because they bought their way to 60 and then figured out 60 to 70 is pretty fucking on rails. And, the only thing that people do in this game are match-made pre-queued content.
Nude mods too.
Nude mods.
But even those are... Yeah.
And housing.
So what was the point of bringing Eureka out now? And I actually have kind of, I liked what Eureka did, but I'm now in the camp that it's like, that was too little too late. Like, it's good. Keep doing that, Square Enix, but you should have been doing that from 3.0. Or bare minimum 3.1.
That should have been, or at least that should have been 4.0, 4.1 content.
That's what I'm sorry.
There's been a lot of people that I think fell off, unsubbed just before 4.0. Obviously, nothing happened in 4.0 to bring them back. I've seen a lot of people express the sentiment that, Eureka might bring me back, or I'm going to come back and try Eureka. But you're right. Even people that having seen it and think that this is what could have brought me back, it is too little too late, because I still talk to those people and it's like, have you came back to try Eureka yet? No, not yet. Guess what? If you haven't yet, you're not going to then. I mean, Juxta, even you tried it for 2 days, and then that was it.
That's it. Last time I played Final Fantasy XIV I tried Eureka like 2 or 3 days after me and Nika streamed first day Eureka.
And there's enough people, and we even heard from someone last week that tried Eureka and was so disappointed by it that they unsubbed. Not that, oh, this was so bad that why did they waste their time on this? That I put so much hope behind this being much more interesting than what was already there that it just didn't live up to that expectation. And that's fair.
Yeah. So, look, so long as you're not one of those people that played it for 30 minutes, said, oh, this is bullshit, and walked away, if you actually gave it a fair shake and it wasn't what you were expecting, wasn't what you needed, I can't really blame you for that. And
can't fault you.
And I get it.
Yeah.
I have a problem, I think, because it isn't what I expected or needed, but I still spent a lot of fucking time.
Yeah, you just have a problem, Nika.
I mean, but again, it's a lot of that fear of missing out bullshit that keeps you in MMOs because, like, I don't.
Oh, okay, hold on, wait.
But I don't have that at all.
I do, just because I'm back into raiding now. When I first started, like when Eureka came out, my group was just getting back together because I was on that long raiding hiatus, and so now that I'm like, okay, this is going to be the best weapon eventually, I don't want to fall behind.
Maybe it'll be the best weapon eventually.
So I just don't want to risk falling behind just in case, because I don't want to let my raid group down, I guess.
Even though they let you down.
What raid group?
I have a solid raid group.
Wait, how many times have you raided together this new group?
A lot. I don't know. I haven't counted.
I thought so how long have you been raiding for then? Last time
I've already cleared 5, 6, and 7. So like I don't know what you're talking about.
Wow, Nika's being carried.
Nuts.
But you haven't beat OS 8 yet.
I went in once.
Wow.
But like we haven't cleared 07 as a group. We only got it to 2%. And then I cleared it with a pug because pugging these are actually pretty easy.
A pug is better than your raid group, Nika.
A pug that probably people individually have been practicing the raids for months and months and months.
Carrying Nika.
Yeah.
I commend you guys.
Yeah.
Okay, good job considering I'm always the top DPS on the ACT. Okay.
Wait, you're not using ACT, are you? Because I want to record your ass.
Nika.
That is Nika.
N-I-K-K-A-Y-A.
That's wrong.
A-E-A-N.
Just feel fortunate that if the GMs are really going by this video here, that
you're fine.
Yeah, we'll never find you.
They'll never find you.
No calls today, apparently.
Fuck you guys.
None. Yeah.
None. Zero calls.
You guys can literally call in for anything.
Yeah.
Anything. You heard the beginning of this show, didn't you? We do not have standards. Call in for anything.
Yeah, you could have made fun of us for that, but you didn't. You missed out.
We had a lot of theories to talk about. We had a lot of bullshit to talk about.
Because there's nothing else to talk about.
We're going to make something up for next week.
I mean, yeah, I think we have to.
Yeah, well,
we made something up for this week, so I mean.
Hey, Nika, I tried to get your help last night.
Okay.
Oh, gee, I don't think anything's going on, but I don't really know. I have family stuff to do
in town,
tonight.
And I actually have to leave 8 minutes ago to go over to another family thing, so.
Yeah, you guys be nice to Nika. She has a baby right now, and she has a family, and her time is very important because she has to drive down here for an hour and a half each way.
Someone sounds bitter.
It's about 45 minutes. It's an hour and a half from where I live.
Someone sounds bitter.
Oh, wait, you don't have any of that, Nika. Just saying.
Juxa sounds bitter.
Hashtag Nika. Count your blessings if you can count.
Hashtag entitled Nika.
Hashtag kindergarten teacher.
What?
I don't know what that has to do with anything.
Those who can't do teach.
Oh, okay, fair.
All right, guys. I think now we really have run out of shit for this show. We're just hurling insults back and
unless you want to read a fanfic.
Not particularly.
There was one written by Frumpy Raccoon.
Oh, Frumpy.
No.
They're my favorite.
We're definitely not reading that.
We have to save it because we don't have anything to do next week.
Definitely not reading that.
Can we play a game next week?
What do you want to play?
Dungeons and Dragons.
Really?
Do you not?
No, not really.
That's the best game ever. You can do whatever you want in that game.
Like kill Juxta.
How? Okay, so we're just gonna play Dungeons and Dragons instead of doing a.
Well, it'll be set in Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, so that'll have some tangential correlation. But yeah, there's nothing else you want. You want to talk about something 14 related? No, I didn't think so.
I wouldn't.
I would rather play a game because that brings me happiness.
How about look? It's gonna take me some time to plan out the D&D style FF14. So let's plan that for March 20th or May 20th. Sorry.
I was going to say, do we have to go back? We would have to go back in time.
No, May 20th.
Wait.
Yeah. In fact, I'll see if, because Norris wanted to be here for that, because it like technically has role playing, so we'll have Norris here that day as well.
No, I'm not there on that day.
Oh, darn.
Wow.
It was his idea.
No, actually, originally, when we first came up with this, it was my idea. We had this idea sometime last year, never got around to it.
Yeah, but he was the first one to say it, so on the show, it's his idea.
No, I mentioned on the show. Fine, you get to plan it then. You get to DM it.
You have to maintain show constancy.
You get to DM it then. It's all on you.
God. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
That sounds like work.
It is.
Actually, I think I would be kind of into that. Have Juxta DM. That would be the worst campaign ever.
Actually, I'm actually not a bad DM.
Liar.
All right.
I don't believe it.
Look, I will help you set something up, but now you get to be the DM.
No, that's completely the opposite of what I wanted.
He once did a Pokemon D&D for us.
Really?
He was the DM of a Pokemon D&D.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
I bet it was.
I mean, it wasn't the best.
You probably gave him the worst Pokemon too.
No, I got to pick.
I gave him Piplup.
I had Piplup.
The worst one.
I love Piplup.
Have you seen the dancing Piplup?
No.
The videos?
Oh my God! Yes, it's so creepy.
Weird. It is creepy.
I don't like it.
It's super creepy.
It's not a Pokemon.
Somebody suggested that they were going to do a cosplay group of that.
It's a Mankey Pokemon. Oh wait,
no.
Cosplay group of what?
Never mind.
You want me to do a cosplay?
Just
of that?
look up Piplup dancing, and you'll figure it out.
You want me to cosplay
I'm
that?
kind of scared.
No,
I'm not.
Never.
I'm not looking.
That's terrifying.
I could do that.
2 Piplups, 1 cup.
All right, that's going to be it for Limit Break Radio. Thanks so much for joining us today. I want to thank Kookie, even though she didn't have anything to do. She was able to cut out early because there was no calls.
Yeah.
So, thanks, Kookie, for all your help today. And I didn't see Skuro, so fuck you, Skuro. But I do want to thank my crew, even though we had a bit of a bumpy opening. Juxta for fucking up everything at the beginning of the show. Kahlo and Nika, I'm an hero. Keep listening. Limit Break Radio is a production of LimitBreakRadio.com and Bender Media Productions. This episode was produced by Kahlo Landis, Juxtaposition, and Kookie Persona. Final Fantasy XIV and Eorzea are trademarks of Square Enix. Funding for Limit Break Radio is provided by Miri Kennett, Nexian Theta, Hirsch Fersch, and fellow Limit Break Radio listeners. To support Limit Break Radio, visit Patreon.com/Limit Break Radio. Opening music in this episode from Daniel Lambie. Listen to Man with the Machine Gun and other great tracks at Facebook.com/Daniel Lambie Metal Gamer. Closing music in this episode provided by Husky by the Geek. Listen to this and other great Final Fantasy XIV and video game rock covers and original music at Facebook.com/Husky by the Geek. In-game graphics for Limit Break Radio's Twitch stream are provided by Diamond Multimedia. Check out their line of AMD graphics cards and other hardware at DiamondMM.com. Limit Break Radio and its hosts are solely responsible for its content. Hey guys, thanks